Hello, fifth graders. Welcome to lesson 6.2, Prove Multiplication as Scaling. Let's get started. Today's objective is I can prove the scaling of products when multiplying fractions by using rules to determine the scaling with 100% accuracy in multiple attempts. Please pause now to type the I can and by sentences into your digital math notebook. All right, friends, our last lesson we talked about scaling. In our scaling, we talked about if we multiply a number by more than 1, like 3/2, then we know that our answer is going to get larger. Today, our goal is to prove our answers and explain how we know that we are correct. So let's do a problem together. It says, Julia walked 6 miles on Monday. Her friend Jill walked 2/3 as much. Which statement is true? So in here I see a 6 and a 2/3. So this problem would be 6 times 2/3. Now, we don't need to solve this in order to know that 2/3 is less than 1. So if I multiply 6 by less than 1, my answer should be less than 6 because 6 times 1, well, that's our proof, right? So 6 times 1 would be 6. And 2/3, let me draw a picture. You don't have to prove it like this, but 2/3 would be less than 1. So if I say 2/3 is less than 1, then 2/3 times 6 is going to equal less than 6. Let's see if we can solve the next set of problems without multiplying. It says, without solving, match each fraction to the correct equation. So something times 7 equals 7. Well, I know that anything times 1 equals itself, so I'm going to go look at our fractions over here for the one that equals 1. That would be 3/3. 3 over 3 is 1 whole, and 1 whole times 7 will be 7. All right, let's try our next one. Something times 2 equals 5. So we had 2, and we got larger to get 5. So I'm going to look for a fraction that is larger than 1. That means that the numerator is going to be bigger than denominator. So 5 is smaller than 8, so that doesn't work, but 5 is larger than 2. So 5/2 times 2 must equal 5 because my product got bigger. Which leaves our last example, 5/8, which is less than 1, times 4, of means times 4 is going to get smaller. I started with 4. I took not quite half of it. 4/5 is a little bit more than half. And then I got a smaller number. So 5/8 goes here. Let's continue on and do some problems together. All right, friends, this is in your digital math notebook. So remember that you're not just watching now. You need to be typing along and completing the problems with me. Our first problem says circle the multiplication problem that will result in a product greater than 6. So our problem needs to get larger, which means that we need to look for a fraction that is greater than 1. So our first example, 2/3. 2 is smaller than 3, right? If we drew a picture of this, this is 2 out of 3. So that's not a whole, so it can't get larger. So it can't be this one. 4 over 4 is equal to 1, and 1 times 3 won't get larger. So it has to be 3/2 times 6. So when we prove it, you have a box in your digital math notebook. You can type in a sentence. You could draw a picture if you'd like to. But we know that 3 over 2 is greater than 1. You can type that in a sentence, or you can type that just like that. If we drew this in a picture, we would have halves, and we would have 1, 2, and a third one. So it's more than 1 whole. And if I multiply 3/2 times 6, I know that it is going to get larger than 6. All right, let's try a second problem. This says circle the multiplication problem that will result in a product equal to 4. So I want my problem to stay the exact same, which means I need to multiply by 1. So I'm going to go down here and look at my fractions, and I'm going to try to find one that equals 1. Well, look here. 3 over 3 means 1 whole. So 3 over 3 times 4 is going to be 1 times 4. So let's go over here and prove it. 3 over 3 equals 1. And 1 times 4 equals 4. So when we're asked to prove it, we just need to explain our thoughts about how we got our answer. Your prove it may not look the exact same as mine. You could include pictures or words or examples, but you need to have some proof behind your answer. All right, friends, time for the lesson activity. In the lesson activity, we have 2 more problems to solve. I'll get you started, and then you can prove them on your own. Example 3 says, circle the multiplication problem that will result in a product less than 8. So we're looking for a fraction that is less than 1 whole. So we have 9 over 9, that equals 1. And we have 5 over 3, 5 is greater than 3. So our answer must be 1/2 of 8. Now you might also think in your head, oh, I know 1/2 of 8. 1/2 of 8 is 4. So I know that 1/2 of 8 equals 4. So if you know that math fact, then you can use that as well. It doesn't have to be proving that 1/2 is less than 1, although that works as well. All right, I'll get you started on the last one. Circle the multiplication problem that is a result that is greater than 2. So we're looking for an example that gets larger. So 7 over 7 won't do it. 5 is smaller than 6. That won't do it. So we know that our answer is going to be 5/2 times 2. I'm going to leave you to fill in the prove it box on your own. Remember that you might talk about how you know that 1 is greater, or you might solve it to show your answer. You can use words or pictures or diagrams, but you need to fill in this box on your own. Great job, 5th graders. You've come to the end of this lesson. If you need to go back and watch, then make sure you do so. But when you feel comfortable, complete the exit slip to show your teacher your understanding. Great job!